Okay, Jessica, thanks so much for taking the time to share your experience of working with Peak Financial Wellness so that other business owners that might be considering working with us can see what it's like. So before we jump in, I'll just give you a chance to introduce yourself.
I'm Jessica Wills. I'm a nurse practitioner. I've had my own business for a couple years, but prior to meeting Chelsea, I had no business schooling or knowledge, just kind of what I was able to pick up on my own along the way. And she has really helped me to get a jump start on goals and what benchmarks to be looking for, and just overall business knowledge and um, marketing and things like that.
Yeah, and that's very common for people who didn't come from a business background, right? Like you might get one business class in school, so that totally makes sense. And there were definitely, I know there are people who are in your same shoes. So you touched on this a little bit, but before you started working with us, can you tell me kind of how you were feeling about your business finances?
So before I started working with Chelsea at Peak Financial, I just really didn't know how everything was going. I mean, I knew there was money coming in and money going out to pay off trainings and different things, but it was kind of a disaster, really, just not understanding cash flow and to start that first and what to look for and reports to be looking at. And I mean, even getting down to the basics of how to operate a spreadsheet and just basic information for me, that's been the most beneficial. And I think it will be more beneficial as I continue on too.
Yeah, definitely. It is. And it's one of those things when you first start a business and you've brought, it's expensive and you've put a bunch of investment in it. So making sure that you can pay that investment back and get your money back and then start breaking even and making a profit. It's really important that you know everything that's coming in and going out in order to allow you to put you on the path to do that, right?
Right.
Yeah. So tell me, what
Absolutely.
was the biggest challenge that you were kind of facing then when we started working together?
I think the biggest challenge for me was just the confidence to keep moving forward. Anytime you don't know what you're doing and somebody that does know what they're doing kind of comes in and takes a assessment and looks at everything, you think, oh no, is this the time I should throw in the towel? Should I have never started this? Do I have no potential for, financial growth in this, setting? But so she was able to really give me realistic goals and an understanding of what's going on and also how to move forward and do that in a more financially sound, stable way.
I'll just say I've never worked with someone and told them to throw in the towel.
Well,
It's
I
never
mean,
that.
if you had to,
Yeah, it's always fixable. So it's always
yeah.
fixable. And yeah, I could see that, but for sure, yeah, you were definitely not in a horrible position, and just a few tweaks, to get you on the right track was all that it took. And it was really great working with you because you took action and did everything I asked you to do, and so things happen quickly when you get results
Well,
quickly when you do that.
and I think too, in the very beginning is so crucial to get that basic fundamental business knowledge. Um, they don't really even like, even if you go to invest in a really great aesthetic training, a lot of it isn't necessarily ongoing business information. It's more of how to get it started. And then
Yeah.
you're kind of mostly on your own, um, just to kind of pick up. So my advice for anybody would be like, definitely start invest in that, because it's a similar amount that you invest in different buy-ins to different companies and things like that. So honestly, I felt like this was probably the most beneficial investment that I made for a business startup. for
Yeah,
sure.
I love hearing that for sure. Because the idea is always that I want you to get a return on that investment. But also, I'll just say from my own experience and being a fractional CFO to multi-million dollar businesses, I've seen what happens when a multi-million dollar practice owner didn't have a good handle on their numbers and they never went back and put the foundation in place to do the right thing. It's a lot harder to fix things once you've gone down that road and you're in a bunch of debt, having cash flow issues and not paying yourself when you're a couple million in, versus when you're in your first 2 to 5 years of business. We can really put things in place and a strategy in place to help you maximize your profitability and step into that CEO role before you make a bunch of mistakes and go down a bad path. So yeah, you came in at the absolutely the right time. So kind of going off of that, kind of tell me, what other things did you try prior to working with me that maybe weren't helpful or didn't work out for
I
you?
did go to one business summit through the company that I did all my training through, and that was probably about 6, 9 months after I'd kind of built my business. But I felt like at the time it was a little more geared towards people that had already had established med spas that were doing, it was more laser oriented and how to structure different things around that. And I just wasn't there yet. I don't have any devices. That is definitely a goal, but I just felt like a lot of it was a little bit over my head in terms of where that was directed at. And this was just the basics of like accounting and bookkeeping and what you need to know, even to be wise enough to turn it over to somebody else. Like you still have to know what you're looking at to know if they're doing their job right too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Even if you invest in bookkeeping, like ultimately, when you're an entrepreneur, you wear all the hats. So even if you invest in somebody to do the bookkeeping for you, right? Like you're your own CEO, you're your CFO, you're your CMO, you're all the C letters, the C level positions. And so you still have to know what you're looking at and how to make the best decisions from the information that they give you. Otherwise, what are you even paying someone to do that for you? For it makes no sense. So
Yeah, and just with just even you looking at my numbers and saying like, okay, don't purchase any more retail, it gave me the ammunition and the confidence that I needed to be like, when those reps are, knocking at your door, they're trying to sell their
mm,
product to you, and you don't want to say no, because when you're starting out, you want to build good relationships with the companies that you're going to use and work with, but also it's okay to be like, nope, I don't need to purchase anything more. I need to move this stuff. It's not, it's not a smart decision. So yes, you came in at the right time, but I could have done this about 6 months earlier and said no to a lot of.
yeah, yeah, kept yourself out of a little bit more, but yeah, and that's
Yeah,
very common
right.
because those reps are good. They're really good at their job and at selling you things. And but what happens is you end up with all your cash in the closet, right? And then you
Yeah.
need money to operate the business. So, yeah, definitely looking at your cash flow helps you to make those decisions and not get yourself in any trouble for sure. So, tell me, what hesitations or fears did you have about working with me?
I do not have this fear now at all. It went away after day one. But at first I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know this person. She's online and I'm giving her access to my accounts and here I go.
Mhm.
But I just was like, take just do it. And I'm so glad I did. And anybody that would have reservations about that probably is just being, just a little cautious. But I would, I mean, you're the
Yeah,
real
for sure.
deal.
Don't
It's
give anyone
definitely
online access to your bank account always, right? Like you can give me access to QuickBooks so that I can view transactions, but don't ever give anybody online access to your bank accounts or anything like that,
right.
obviously. But yeah, yeah. So maybe the confidentiality, was there anything about the price or your ability to handle the material or any other concerns that you were worried about?
No, I mean, you gave the tools, the recorded videos, the Zoom, those things are priceless because you can go back if you've forgotten something, because it is kind of a quick, 90-day crash
Mhm.
course essentially, but that's what you're paying for, and that's what I
Yeah,
needed.
it's a business that's intensive and it's meant to get you in the
But
right, headed in the right direction and build on it
you're
from
going
there.
to get out of it whatever work you put in. So if you don't sit down and go through all the spreadsheets and then you come back the next week and you don't have any questions because you didn't even do the stuff, then that's your money wasted. But I felt like I invested that money. I'm going to get this out of it. It was absolutely well worth it. Price point, I don't see. I feel like it was fine.
Yeah,
It
awesome.
it it was at the right. I mean, once you look at all the hours that go into these
Mhm.
Zooms and the material that you set up for us, and I mean, just setting up QuickBooks and things like that, it's just
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we try and make it a no-brainer for anybody that truly wants to be the CEO of their business, right? It's
yeah.
yeah, it's meant and priced accordingly. Yeah. So tell me what's changed in your business and or your personal life since you started working with us?
Um, when somebody asks me how's your business going, I actually have a concept of how it's going because
Yeah.
I look at my cash flow and I look at my spreadsheets and I look at my reports. So that's actually, I can actually go, I'm doing well, I was here, I'm here, and
Mhm.
keep growing from there. Um, so that's changed. I feel like I'll definitely have a better idea of what I can spend, where to stop, when it's time to, bring on an employee or when it's time to, um, think about other tax implications and things like that. So yes, I mean, I just feel like I'm just in a much more knowledgeable space so that you can make decisions that are going to be positively impactful to growth.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. And that's what it's all about is giving you financial mastery so that you can scale successfully and pay yourself as a business owner, versus just the provider in the business that you could, make the same amount of money working somewhere else. That's not what this is about. You want freedom and you want money. And so um that's the goal here is to put that structure in place so that you can go forward and do that.
Yeah, and like pricing different promotions or different packages. It it was super helpful to have you be like, don't forget to pay yourself. Don't forget to factor this in. Don't forget to factor this in. So all of that, and then just being able to know, look at where you're at and look at how much revenue potential you have based on what you're doing now so that you can plan for the future. It was just so helpful.
I'm glad it was so helpful. Before we sign off, why would you recommend Peak Financial Wellness to another business owner?
The, the personal, number one, the personal interactions over Zoom and being able to have conversations and share screen and go through things together, that is super helpful. I would not be able to necessarily take a week out of every day and go sit with an accountant somewhere and do all that. The fact that you also have a lot of knowledge from working with other med spas because that industry is so different than other healthcare industries. Um, I mean, that's really what sets this apart too, because even though it's online, there's so much one-on-one interaction that you just get more out of it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I really do enjoy that piece of it myself. And Jessica, it was a pleasure working with you. And I want to really take time to acknowledge you in your growth. You were amazing to work with. You did everything I asked. And I think you're going to see quick results because of that. And I am looking forward to seeing all your success in the future.
Me too. Thank you so much. And also, yes, that you don't just end it at the 90 days and say, sorry, you're on your own. See ya. Unless you want to be on your own. But at least there was the opportunity to still, participate in some monthly calls
Yeah. Yeah.
and things
So
like that. You're not just here to take our money, give us the spiel for 90 days and then you're done.
Yeah, no, I don't want to leave anybody hanging for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, now we offer the Peak Profit Collective where you can come in and it's more of a group atmosphere, but you have access to post questions throughout the month or jump on our call and ask them live to get any help you might need and also just learn from others who are in the same industry and going through the same thing you are.
Yep.
Awesome. Right. Well, thanks again, Jessica, for taking the time to do this today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for asking me. Appreciate it.